I'm Terry Pascoe and welcome to After the 80. On today's show, we'll catch up with Coach Kim Williams from the Central Queensland Capras. We'll get Rikki-Lee's wrap and, as per usual, the player profile for this week. The man to the right of me is Anthony Bomber Breeze. What do you think of the weekend?
Oh, it was only 3 games, but there were 3 great games there. They all went down. All the losers lost by 2 points. So it's a very exciting competition, very close competition.
Most definitely. It was very exciting this weekend. Now, if you'd like to join the discussion, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for Phoenix Media Hub and comment away. Now, let's have a look at the results from round 10 of the Intrust Super Cup. Like you said, it was very close affair, Bomber. There was only 3 games, but geez, only a couple of points splitting each team. Yeah,
well, as you can see by the results there, 2 points in every game there. It basically come down to goal kicks and penalty goals in all them games. A couple of windy games there, so obviously goal kicking wasn't at its best on the weekend. So, but yeah, no, like we said earlier, very close competition.
Well, Northern Pride, this was the first game without Todd Carney, so this was a big improvement as well. So it shows that they've sort of bounced away. But look, what a game Tweed Heads was. Tweed Heads Ipswich was just such an exciting game. You would have, 6 minutes to go, if you're a bookmaker, you would have been sitting there going, nah, mate, we'll pay out now. Ipswich have got this in the bag. They're up by 8.
Well, anyone, if they know Ipswich, they probably wouldn't have paid out because Ipswich, very unpredictable side there. When they're ahead, they still do the short drop-offs, the short kick-offs. I don't care whether they're ahead by 2 or whether they're ahead by 30. They still try things right to the end there. They're a very ad-lib team, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't for them.
Yeah, look, these are 2 informed teams, and they also were boosted, well, Tweed were boosted with Kane LG, which we knew about, but as what you, I think, mentioned last week, the Conrad Harrell, which team would he go to on the coast, and now we know it's Tweed Heads, and I'm sure that would have been a huge improvement for Tweed Heads Seagulls.
Yeah, well, obviously having him, he's an NRL player there. Watched the highlights and that of this game there. I didn't really see too much of him, so I don't know whether he had that good a game there, but obviously just being around him, I'm sure he did add a lot in the dressing room.
And this is a bit of mum and barber brilliance coming up shortly as well. Like this is sort of what Ipswich is about. Like it's just that free flowing. Like it must be so hard to defend these sort of teams.
Oh well, the Jets started it a couple of years ago through the Walker boys when they won the Intrust there, and people thought that they may have just tried to tweak it. They have a little bit there. They go forward a little bit more, but they still just play the same way, and obviously that gets them the results.
Now, just coming up, I think it's after this try, it was the Deerham Bandy Danger. Is it Kaya Cooper?
Oh, Cooper, yeah.
Was stole the match like with 2 late tries, which was, I think that's one of them. And then, like, this is with 4 minutes to go. You just wouldn't have predicted that, they would have even come close to winning this game.
Yeah.
And going forth, it was because it was a windy day. It was no one was getting the conversion, so it was 18-all, ready for full time. And I guess it's Sam Kaslik made an error there, touching the ball, and gave a penalty away on halfway.
Yeah. And obviously, that's like we said, a 50-metre goal, probably right on the friggin' hooter, and he puts it right over the black dot.
And you look how far that kick went. He could have kicked that from the 40. Like it had so much wind behind it.
Well, obviously, when you're on the halfway line, you have to hit him hard. He didn't seem to really whack it hard, but it went far and it went straight.
Well,
more to the point.
What was your game? Which game that caught your eye?
The Wynnum PNG game. Obviously, we were talking last week about PNG. They've lost a lot of close games this year, and obviously this was another one. It was a fairly tight game. Half time they went in at 12-all. The defence from both teams was pretty good in the first half there. Second half, a bit of fatigue come into both teams there, but they got away with the win.
Yeah, look, Pat Templeton there scoring the try. Geez, he's couldn't be doing too much wrong to be starting to think about first grade, because he's a try-scoring machine, and he's just quick. Like he's got speed.
Well, like I said, natural speed in rugby league is a big thing, as you see with James Roberts and different ones there. If you've got speed, if there's a little gap, it can be a try. So,
yeah, look, as you mentioned, it was a bit of a seesawing game, but the defence was strong for both teams. Like, yeah, fatigue comes into it, but geez, I mean, PNG, you expect that. They're hard hitting, and they I think they've got 17 Trevor Gilmeisters on the field that are willing to cut you in half.
Well, they have there, and also the raging bull from Kokopo, Willie Minoga. He scored 2 tries in this game, and he was back to his brilliant barnstorming best here. I think after this penalty goal, I think he scores a try. I think Wynnum scored the next try actually, and then he scores the winner right at the end there for PNG.
Yeah, and again, it was one of those ones where for like 4 minutes to go, it was anyone's game, and the drama didn't stop there. It was very much a frantic finish with a short kickoff, Wynnum regaining possession. Here's the try here. Again, it's speed, isn't it?
Well,
it's all speed.
Speed, and obviously he's got a bit of size about him too there. So, but they also welcome back Thompson Tete, who was with Redcliffe. Obviously, he's got a release and went back over there. Whether for what reasons, I don't know. But he's obviously back home now, and obviously he's going to add a lot to their back line. Yeah,
look, that footage there was courtesy of the QRL media. If you'd like to see all the highlights for round 10, I think we're only missing one anyway. You could jump on their QRL.com.au and have a look at all the highlights. Now, if we have a look at the competition ladder after round 10, it doesn't get much more congested than this. Burleigh is still on top of the ladder, but geez, you've got 3 teams all on 12 points, and then another 3 teams on 10 points. When's it going to end? Like, we don't have a dominant side, do we?
Which obviously that's great for the competition. We want a competition like this where one win can move you from the Jets in 7th, can move you up in the 2nd position. Obviously on for and against it probably won't, but if they had a good for and against, that's where you can go from 7th to 2nd or 6th to 3rd and all that there. So competition's going great guns.
Yeah, look, and if we look over the page, you can see that again, the 8th point is where it's at the moment. And as I mentioned as we've discussed, Central and Mackay, even PNG and Wynnum and East are only 1 or 2 wins away from being in that top 8.
Well, the 8th position is on 8 points. The team in the wooden spoon position's on 6 points. So 1 win and they're on equal points. So it's congested at the top, but it's also very congested at the bottom, as you can see.
Yeah, look, you've got to love the Intrust Super Cup and being how tight it is. Joining us now for Rikki-Lee's wrap is Rikki-Lee Arnold from the Courier Mail. Mate, what do you think of round 10 of the Intrust Super Cup?
It was a round of upset, wasn't it? I can't get a tip right at the moment. Obviously, I thought one of the big ones was PNG coming back over Wynnum. I mean, that would have been such a great confidence boost for them, and it's good to see them get a win away from home as well.
Yeah, look, what do you think the biggest headline over the weekend was? There was all close games. Redcliffe almost clawed back from Northern Pride's fast start. Then obviously Tweed flying home, and PNG.
Look, I thought PNG's win was probably the most significant. They've been through a lot this year, so it was really good to see them be able to do that. But in terms of headline, I think Inari Tuwala's performance for the Pride, certainly got a lot of attention, especially given how the Cowboys are travelling in the NRL. Paul Green wants to see these young guys make a statement, and I think we can all agree Inari certainly did that.
Yeah, look, it makes for a really interesting round 11. Like you said, footy tipping's I don't even try anymore. I just say, I'll let my 7-year-old daughter do it.
Yeah, look, I think there could be a few more upsets this round, but I'm quite enjoying watching some of these teams that, your Mackays, your Tweedheads, those kind of teams that maybe haven't done that as well in the last couple of seasons, finally starting to get some form and some momentum. It's pretty exciting to watch. And then you have teams like East. This is a really big week for East. So I think they obviously have the TV game against Burleigh. They need to win. It's a massive task though. Burleigh's obviously the informed team of the competition at the moment, but East have just really struggled. There's obviously been some rumours around whether or not Scott Super will be there next year, given how they're travelling. But I just really think this is the year. This is the week they need to step up and make a statement.
Yeah, look, the coaches aren't. The coaches in the Intrust Super Cup aren't immune to those sort of sacking calls. We always hear it in the NRL, but I'm sure it was only like 3 or 4 weeks ago I was saying, I don't know if the Wynnum coach will be sticking around.
Yeah, I think Wynnum is another team that has to come under, that kind of spotlight at the moment. I mean, Adam Bryson's done a really good job, I think, in trying to get them off the ground, but it's just not happening. And it's not like they don't have the players to do it. I mean, they have Sean Nona in the halves who has been very successful in his career in the past. So they've got Patrick Templeman back this year. They've got some great young forwards. Obviously, they did lose Payne Haas to the Broncos and now to injury, but I just don't think that's an excuse either, because even when they had him, they weren't winning. I think that win against Norse should have been what, really ignited their season, really sparked it, and they just let that go. They let that momentum go, and I think there's definitely some pressure on Wynnum and East, those kind of teams at the moment.
Awesome. All right, Ricky. Well, I guess I'd ask you what story you'll probably be running with in the next coming days, but I'm sure the pages are going to be back-to-back of Cameron Smith's retirement.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more follow-up on Cameron Smith and who's likely to replace him at hooker, who's likely to replace him at captain, that kind of thing. But Intrust Super Cup, if you're looking for an update on who's leading the Courier Mail medal, that will be in tomorrow's paper. Excellent.
All right, Ricky, thank you very much. They are Rikki-Lee Arnold, the rugby league reporter for the Courier Mail. Grab your Thursday's Courier Mail and to read all Rikki-Lee's recent articles. Now let's go to this week's player profile.
Billy Gilbert, Central Queensland Capras. Started when I was a young tacker, about 5-year-old. I first threw the boots on and I've been playing ever since. It's been my life really. I finished school and just kept playing footy. I originally come from a little country town called Darlington Point in the far southwest of New South Wales. I also made my way up to Cronulla 2 years ago to play under 20s up there after playing for New South Wales Country under 18s, and then made a phone call to come up here, and here I am. Besides getting starting jersey in round 1 would have to be last year's Papua New Guinea trip. A bit humbling. See how much the kids love their footy. In the team, I'd have to say Jack Madden. Yeah, very inspirational, not the biggest. Puts the effort in, big kick chase on him, throws his body on the line. Gives me goosebumps sometimes watching him play.
All right, thank you very much, Billy, there from the Central Queensland Capras. That was this week's player profile. Now let's keep with the Central Queensland theme. Joining us now is Kim Williams, the Central Capras coach. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Mate, the weekend off for you guys, probably come at a good time. Give you guys a chance to regroup after your big loss against Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, we were very disappointed in that performance, and it was on the back of a loss to Wynnum, in a game that we should have had under control at half time. So, probably a good time for us to get a little break and refresh, both mentally and physically. And, we're looking forward to a big game this weekend in PNG against the Hunters. So, the timing of that's good as well. I think, that's the biggest trip pretty well season, so to have a break leading into that one's a bonus as well.
Yeah, mate. Look, your team, you're 9 games down so far in the season. You're 3 from 6, which doesn't sound great, but the competition's that tight. You're only one or two wins away from being in the top 8. How tough is it to coach in the Intrust Super Cup with such a strong competition?
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I think, it's widely regarded as the number 2 competition in Australia, if not the world. So it's a challenge every week. All the teams in this competition are very well coached. Some outstanding coaches getting around, and I'd look forward to the challenge every week, and you just see if the team's just a couple of % off their top performance. Anything can happen. We've seen Tweed Heads, I guess, over the last few weeks climb the ladder very quickly, and every week there's at least one or two upsets. So, if you're a little bit off your game, you certainly pay a price in such a quality comp.
Yeah, look, mate, you guys are based in Rockhampton. That's right in rugby league heartland. Now, we've seen you take some games out to regional parts. How important is that for not only your team but the community as a whole?
Yeah, it's something we've really tried to do better this year than I think the club has done for a long time, and that's engage our whole area. And we've been pretty well Rockhampton centric for a long time. They tended to take it, one, maybe 2 games a year to Gladstone, but that was pretty well it. So, this year we played a trial in Theodore. We've had a game in Emerald. We've got a game coming up out in Barcoolen later in the season. We've had games in Bundaberg over the last couple of seasons, and that's something we certainly want to continue doing. So, we find we get great support out in all of those areas. The crowds are big, very vocal. They know their footy really well, and we've been able to perform pretty well at all our games out in those areas. So I think it's a great strategy from the club, and one I'd support 100%.
Yeah, look, well, you're one to travel, Kim, so this week you're taking on PNG in PNG. Is there such thing as an easy game in the Intrust Super Cup?
Not at all. I think, the results week to week really reflect the closeness of the comp. And as I mentioned earlier, as a coach, you've got to get the team up every week. You just can't perform a little bit below your best and expect to get a result. So, the PNG challenge is probably one of the biggest in the competition over there at their home ground. So again, it's a game we'll need to be right at our best to get the points. And I think travelling over there, the guys really enjoy it. It's a trip all the players want to be on. So it's never been a problem getting the players up for the game against the Hunters.
Well, what's the experience like over there in PNG? Because, I mean, obviously PNG are hard-hitting players, but what's the experience like just even for your own players, just going over there and seeing the community? Yeah,
when they initially came in, they were playing in Kokopo, and that was a different experience again. Very sort of smaller place there, and just a pretty small village where the ground and the hotel was. And the players are pretty well treated like rock stars there. In Port Moresby, you tend to stay in your hotel grounds a bit more, but there's always a group of anywhere from 5 to 20 kids waiting outside the front of the hotel for you to drive out in the bus. And that sort of sums it up for me. The passion for rugby league there. Everywhere you go, there's a throng of people who want to get in and meet the players and get autographs. And when you get to the ground, it's madness. Just a large group of the young kids and even adults running alongside the bus, and they all want a T-shirt or a hat. And all our players have always been really generous. I'm sure all the clubs are, and it's quite a rewarding experience going over there and just seeing how much they appreciate our game and appreciate our players.
Well, we talk about Central Queensland being the heartland. It's really phenomenal over there in PNG. Now, you get Jack Madden back this week as well. That must be a big boost for you guys. Yeah,
we got injured in round 1, and we've missed him, especially in the big moments in games. We've lost a couple of tight ones, or we've led, and teams have come from behind, and that's where your captain and your halfback and main ball player your greatest asset. So we've missed Jack in that respect. He's also tough as nails, Jack, and he inspires the players around him. So we've missed that part of his game as well. He's a big inclusion for us this week, and we hope our performance can improve on the back of that.
All right, Kim, well, thank you very much for your time, and good luck in PNG, and hopefully you travel well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Hope your show continues to do well.
Kim Williams there from the Central Queensland Capras. Always good to have our regional areas on, get as much info as we can from them, I should say. Now, let's have a look at round 11 of the Intrust Super Cup. Now, a few big games here. Burleigh up against East. This is a must-win. It's a must-win for both, but it's more importantly for East Tigers to get a win up here.
Yeah, like I said, a must-win for both there. Burleigh, if they win, they just go further and further ahead up towards the top of the ladder, so that'll cement them up there, whereas East are down the bottom, so they can't afford too many more losses, otherwise they start to slip away from that all-important top 8.
Look, Ipswich Jets up against North. That's going to be the TV game on Channel 9, so we'll be able to watch. Everyone statewide will be able to have a look at that on Channel 9. And a big important game on the Sunshine Coast at Sunshine Coast Stadium with the Falcons going up against the Dolphins. Now, this is the James Ackerman Cup. It's been 3 years since his life was tragically taken at North's the Bishop Park during a game, which obviously suspended the game. So it's going to be a bit of a sombre game. Yeah,
well, it's obviously good that the Sunshine Coast have remembered him and they play this game every year because obviously it was a tragic time for rugby league in general when his life was taken there. So it's great that Sunshine Coast keeps his name alive in that way.
Yeah, look, and the other interesting game is Tweed Heads and Pride. I'd hate to be a tipster, like I said, I've just given up. So, I mean, who do you tip out of Tweed Heads and Pride? I'd be leaning towards Tweed.
Well, we've got two informed teams, Tweed on a roll and the Northern Pride in great form with their win over Redcliffe last week. But if I had to tip somebody, obviously back at home at Piggerbin, I'd be going Tweed.
And I mean, you look at even Wynnum and Townsville, like you'd automatically circle Townsville, but geez, you don't know with Wynnum. You could be, they could really take a win there.
Well, you don't know with the Blackhawks either. They've had a little bit of indifferent form this year. On form, they probably should win, but you never know, like you said.
All right, well, which game is the one that's piqued your interest, Bob?
I'll be really looking forward to the Tweed Heads Northern Pride game there, just for the reasons that I explained before. They're two informed teams, and both of them want to get wins, so yeah, it should be exciting.
Yeah, look, and the game I like is Sunshine Coast and Redcliffe. I think it's a really good, I guess it's a celebration of a life and a bit of a, like I said, it is a sombre occasion, but it's I guess they get the fans really come out for this, and it is a bit of a local derby as well. I mean, James played for both Redcliffe and Sunshine Coast, so I'll definitely be encouraging everyone to get down there and watch that game. Now, thank you to Kim Williams from the Central Queensland Capras, and also Rikki-Lee Arnold from the Courier Mail, as well as also thank you to you, Bomber, for all your insights.
Oh, no worries. I love the game of rugby league. It's the greatest game of all, so why not talk about it?
Well, that's exactly right. Now, and thank you for joining us today and on After the 80. And for more updates, make sure you head to the Facebook page, or our Facebook page, I should say, Phoenix Media Hub. See you next week.